Hello.
Hello.
Hello. There's the chief.
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
It's doing an update.
What?
Joining momentarily.
Do what?
Rob Harrison's just had to do an update.
Okay.
That was what he told me to sit far apart. Does that feedback?
Okay.
And you're picking me up in your microphone, I think.
And I'm what?
You were picking me up in your microphone.
I'm picking up Lee. Okay. We'll call this meeting to order. I had to update my password today. Did you all? Yep. Nope. Okay, you will. Lee was pretty sure that would happen in the middle of this discussion. But we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Crossville City Council to order. This work session, April the 7th, 2020. And let the record show that all members are present via the interweb. Except Rob. Rob's getting updated, but he'll join us before it's over. So our first agenda item is an ordinance amending Crossville Municipal Code regarding residency requirement for retail liquor store owners. Our attorney has informed us that we couldn't differentiate on where the owners to the liquor stores, whether they were local or not. So to bring our legal status up to that of the state, this item will be on the agenda for discussion Tuesday. Is there anyone that needs to discuss this any further? I don't see anybody doing anything. Okay, that one will be on our agenda, Val. Next one is approval to compensate the JECDB marketing initiative. This is passed through from a 3-star grant through the JECDB that's working on the marketing initiative with, it's been approved by the JECDB to work through Good Folks, who has already gotten started doing an excellent job. Budget wise, this is just a pass through, which will need to be on our agenda. Does anyone have any questions in reference to that one? I'm moving y'all around to see if I can see everybody. Okay, put that one on, Val. Next one is action on a sign sponsorship. This has been an inquiry by the Lady Jets softball team. And the sign is located on the fence by the softball fields on the high schools. I've got a concern about this myself. Personally, in my business life, I sponsor Lady Jets softball, Jets softballs, Stone softball, Lady Stone softball, volleyball, dance team, cheer team, tennis team, and soccer. And I've got a feeling that if we open this up, city of Crossville, that we're opening ourselves up to a lot of additional requests down the road. So this can be, depending on the comments from the council.
I got unmuted. Just with the, well, that's interesting feedback. With our budget the way it is with COVID, I'm just recommending any of these ancillary requests just be turned down. In the upcoming budget, I'm going to have to cut our donations down considerably. I think given the budget situation, it's just good to go ahead and make a blanket order to not address these at this point in time. That's my recommendation.
Now, when I turn down my speaker, did that keep it from echoing on your all's?
Yeah, yes, it did. Can you hear me, James?
Yes, sir.
The only question I had on this was, have we been sponsoring lady softball in the past, or is this a new request?
Manager says it's been done in the past.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I didn't know, but I agree with you. If we start supporting, if we're going to do this, then there's no end to what we'll be doing. And I'm not sure this is something that the city, I'm not sure that this is something the city needs to be involved with myself. I tend to see this more as individuals and businesses and so forth, but that's just my thoughts.
Well, we'll not put it on the agenda for this time. If it needs to be brought up at the next meeting, we'll look at it then.
I agree with you guys, by the way. I just figured out how to unmute myself.
I know business wise, the income around here is shrinking fast. So your sales tax revenue, you're going to have a pretty good hit on that. So we need to be very cautious as to our expenditures for a while. So just leave that one off right now, Val. Next one is approval of award for banking services. Bids were put out on that. And it appears that the only one that came back is the bank we've been dealing with. And they're willing to renew Bank of Putnam County for another 2 years, which will need to be on our agenda. Is there any discussion in reference to that one? Okay. Next one is approval to purchase Wavetronic traffic signal detection system for Livingston Road. Tim, would you like to educate us on the Wavetronics for Livingston Road?
Yes, we normally, we're upgrading our traffic signals to Wavetronics detection. It's a radar detection system versus the loops in the roadway. And I believe this is for the equipment only. When the state comes through and mills the road and paves, they cut out the loops and they have to replace those back. This would not happen again in the future. Yeah, by using the radar.
So this amount you said is for equipment only?
Yeah, let me look here. Yes, it's equipment only. They've been running around $20,000 to $22,000. Yes, this is equipment only. The in-house personnel will install the Wavetronics.
Oh, okay. Any question or discussion in reference to this one? Okay, we'll put that one on our agenda, Valerie. Next one is approval of police uniform equipment bid. Do you want to talk about that one, Chief?
Okay, the Summit uniforms they're $5 over the CMS bid, but we've had so many problems with CMS uniforms. We can't never get a vendor when we need to talk to one. The deliveries, we've got our summer uniforms are about, we issue our summer uniforms go into season on the 15th of April. We've got a bunch of pants, but we don't have any shirts. So we just had a lot of issues with CMS, and just the $5 difference. I think we probably need to go to Summit and give them a shot at least a year anyhow to see if they're any better. But right now, I just don't think the uniform system we got is working. We had to send a whole seasonal uniform back because they was lasting about 2 months, and I wasn't happy with. We can't buy uniforms every 2 months, so I sent a whole season of uniforms, the short sleeves, back, and we just now got credit for it. We from the manufacturer. They say it's not an issue, but all the uniforms had holes wiring into them, like at the gun belt and stuff like that. And I've wore a police uniform for 45 years, and I've never had that kind of problem with them. So apparently it's their problem, not ours. So, but anyway, I think at Summits, we've called the vendor about some other stuff, and he's Johnny on the spot and come down and talk to us. CMS, we call the vendor, and they might call us back in 2 weeks or something like that. So I just think we need to try something else if they're not working for us.
Okay. Yes, Scott.
Yeah, just got a question for the chief. Approximately, how much do we spend a year on uniforms with this?
It depends. Right now,
just ballpark.
So far, we've spent about $15,000. That's the winter uniform, coats, vests, all that comes out of one part of the budget. So we've still got $39,000 in there. We're not trying to spend all of it. We're just trying to get. Right now, all of our guys have just got 2 serviceable uniforms. We've got some of the old styles that we can go back to, but the newer style, the fresher uniforms, I don't even have any long sleeves of that the new style because I wear such a big size. But we're being fiscally conservative with what we spend. But we need something that's going to last us, and we need a vendor if we got an issue that the vendor will getting back in touch with us and say, hey, okay, we'll fix that for you, or we can't fix it one way or another. So
one thing in the future, I don't know that you need to do it with this one, but really the way to take a look at this bid is to have quantities, expected quantities of what you think you'll be purchasing, and then look at the total from that. That'll really tell you who's the cheaper one.
I've got that. It's
okay. So you did analyze it that way.
Yeah, we went item by item, and on from everything from trousers to windbreakers to even the watch cap. We went item on each item, and you know, some they were cheaper on, like the jackets. CMS is cheaper on it, but we just got new jackets, so we're good. We won't be buying jackets.
Right. Well, in the future, when we get a bid, I would just love to see expected usage, and then take that extended out, because the extension's really what the bid is as far as I'm concerned. Then you know who's really cheaper. So anyway, but that's not.
Yeah, we've done a comparison. We've done that actually before we even thought about the bid process. I mean, before we even knew we probably need to change vendors. We done a comparison. Most they sound like we know for sure that 42 people is going to have to be equipped with 2 pair of pants and 2 shirts. And next year, you know, if these guys work 4 12-hour shifts, so that's really 2 uniforms a week that they're going through.
Yeah.
So at some point in time next year, if we got the money, and I'm not spending it before I get it, but I would like to they at least have like 3 or 4 uniforms. So, because if you tear one up, it's done. You tear the leg.
There is a breakout of all those costs in your package.
Yeah.
It's a spreadsheet that's a legal size sheet.
I see that. It just doesn't have quantities. It doesn't have usage.
Okay.
Yeah, I went through the whole bid. I just didn't, since there's no expected usage, you could have 3 items that are cheaper and everything else be more expensive and still be the better bid. So that, especially if there's some items you should buy a lot more of. But anyway, that's something you can do next time. I just think it'd be better to have that on there, but that's fine.
Okay.
That'd be useful for our analysis. You can't bid it like that, but for your breakout.
Okay, Valerie, put that one on our agenda. Next one is approval of bid award for sale of harvesting of timber, Chestnut Hill landfill and airport properties, which Tim's got a bid where somebody will harvest that, and we will receive $23,010. I think that's a pretty good deal. Anyone else got a question or comment in reference to that one? Okay, Val, put that one on. Next one is approval of the award bid for Palace Theater masonry restoration. I looked through this bid.
Because the 8 is, there was some issues there with the architect's specifications. So you combine them together and you get the 60,000 price instead of the 184,000 or whatever the other one was. If that makes sense. So you take 8 and 9.
Kind of. But I mean, I looked through all of that on item 8 and got a bit confused. Could you clarify exactly what we're doing here, Tim?
In item 8, you're awarding the bid, and there was a little mix up with the bid. They had included numbers to replace the mortar on the entire Palace Theater, and we actually only need about 20%. Only about 20% of the mortar is falling out of the joints. So in item 9, Item 8, you're approving a contract for $142,000. And in item 9, we're dropping the actual work down to where it's in the ballpark of 60,000, and we're reducing that figure down to 20%. We can't negotiate with the contractor because we don't have them under contract, but we did talk to them about this change order. They have come and looked at the building, and they said their number was still good, even if we reduced it down to the 20%. So after the meeting next week, we will have a contract and a change order, and their bid price or their contract price after the change order will be $60,835. And you all approved a change order for $60,000 sometime around December, November timeframe. Or
Okay,
you approved the budget amendment. I apologize.
so that's all this is for, is the, what do you call it, tipping the brick?
Yes. Yeah, and a sealer over the entire building, a masonry sealer. They will clean all of the masonry and seal it once they're done with that.
Are they painting the block on the bottom?
Yeah, all the way up. The block will have a coating from the bottom to the top. They have a coating on them now that is a colored coating. I can't say for sure that it's a paint, but they will be getting a brand new coating once everything's pressure washed and cleaned.
Okay, I'm assuming that'd be a color coating.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Valerie, any other questions for Tim on that one? Nope. Okay, that would be 8 and 9. 10 is resolution regarding the Colinks water tank and the pump station, which we've talked about. I guess Will needs to educate us on that, update us. I mean, on the legality.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Wall to wall.
I drafted a resolution, which you'll find attached in the agenda packet, that agrees to grant the money to the Industrial Development Board, which will then issue it on a reimbursement basis to Colinks. Anything that's left over after that reimbursement cost will then be refunded back to the city of Crossville. We've done this in conjunction with the Joint Economic Development Board's attorney, Pete Azale.
Well, will Colinks need to bid this item and present bids to the Industrial Development Board, do you know?
No, Colinks will be able to hire whoever they want to on their own contract basis in-house, and then present their receipts to the Industrial Development Board for potential reimbursement.
And that money will be available after the 1st of July. It's included in this budget then, right?
That might be for Fred on the budget question.
I think that's correct.
Okay.
We were having an echo in here. What did you say?
Which time?
This last time, is it going to be in next year's budget or?
It's included in this next year's budget. That way we won't have to do a budget amendment, and it'll be available 1st of July. By the time we did a budget amendment, it'd be 1st of July anyhow, so it works.
Good. So we'll need that one on there, Val. Next one is approval of TDOT estimate and contract revisions for engineering, professional services on 127 North utility relocation. Which I assume is What is it, Tim?
Rob's joined us, by the way.
What?
Robert's joined us.
Technical difficulties, but I was listening online on the iPad and it looks great. Y'all are really looking good here.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Going back to mute.
Okay, Tim.
This is a revised contract for PDOT for our reimbursement for the utility relocation. The revised amount for the sewer relocation is $900,000, and what the total cost for both utilities is $4,494,940. Our portion of that is $1,505,000. We've been having utility coordination meetings with the gas company and VEC and other utilities in the area, and things have changed a little bit. And TDOT's got this project moving at a fast pace, and they're expecting to bid it in August. And that's part of the reason for these changes and the reason for the dollar amount to go up. This also includes the contract bill, and their dollar amounts are approved through TDOT, and they are included in the contract with TDOT for reimbursement also.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions in reference to that one? Put that one on our agenda, Val.
Your JH has a really big pencil
Right.
in front of the camera.
Next one is approval of contract with J.R. Walford and Company for work related to the inter-basin transfer permits, which is suggested by the engineering department to move forward on that one. You want to explain that one, Tim?
The state requires interbasin transfer permits. I think there's 13 in the state, and we have 3 of those. Also, we have a 26A permit through the TVA to pump water out of Tansy into Meadow Park. We're actually moving water from one watershed into the other. When we pump water from Meadow Park, we're moving it into a different watershed when we bring it into town. It's the same way when we pump water from Tansy, it's leaving one watershed into the other. There's some additional fees that go with this through TDOT, but this actually gets us all the information to turn into permits to have those approved through TDEC.
Any questions on that one? Okay, put that one on, Valerie. Next one is discussion on the golf court townhomes, Tansy Sewer. And I guess you might as well run us through that one, Tim.
We've worked up 2 estimates on looked at several different scenarios for golf course townhomes. And we met with some people from the HOA and went over this budget with them, and they were acceptable to the budget. They have some on-site improvements. They have 11 septic tanks, and they will be installing some on-site gray water pumps that will pump into a pump that the city will own. And we estimate that their cost for that, and we don't have a lot of detail on their septic system, but we estimate if they install 11 pumps, their cost would be $200,000, or roughly $200,000. That's all going to be material and equipment that they would own, and that'll be money out of their pocket that they're going to be spending hiring a contractor to to install those. Off-site improvements, the city will own a pump. It'll be a gray water injection pump to inject into the line. The line between Brown and South Cumberland School is a gray water line, and at this point in time, we can only put gray water in that. That cost is also all the costs from the HOA on that is also around $200,000, and the total for both of those items is $443,340, and that equates out to be about $15,000 per unit, which makes it economical for them to actually get on the sewer, city sewer there. The $209,400 that will be paid to the city, we've never undertaken anything like this, and we've had some discussion about actually financing that with each individual owner. And to give you a rundown on how those numbers work, there's fees that will be paid to the city up front, which would be $33,450. And of those fees, let me get my notes here. Yeah, the $33,450 is a tap fee at $2,000, and the additional tap fee cost is $1,450. And we have included a capacity fee. That's one thing. That's something that the city's never charged before, and we set that up as $30,000. And capacity fee is the amount of money that it would take to add that capacity to the sewer plant. And of course, we wouldn't add capacity just for these 30 customers. So we're looking at it on a broader scale. If we added 1 million gallons of capacity to the sewer plant, it would cost 1 million gallons a day. It would cost around $10 million. So that works out to be basically $10 per gallon. And that's a daily cost. So each unit on average uses about 3,000 gallons a month. So that equates down to 100 gallons a day, which gives you a capacity fee of $1,000 per unit for a total of $30,000. And that's how we can derive the fees of $33,450. So that would be an upfront cost. With that being said, that leaves the offsite improvement cost of $200,490, and that's for a pump station, a tank, and some other items. And we're working off a pretty healthy estimate for this. We looked at that with a 2% interest rate, and we amortized it over 10 years. So that we could add that into their monthly bill. And our goal here was to try to get somewhere between $100 and $80, somewhere in between those two. So over a 10-year period, that $200,000 works out to be $61.49 per month. Then their average monthly sewer charge for 3,000 gallons is $33.93. That works out to be $95.42 a month bill for each one of those units. And even if one of the units is unoccupied, we're still looking at a total of 120 payments before the $61 comes off their bill. So that would be how we would finance the offsite improvements. We would actually finance that for those for the HOA. This pump station, we've looked at this pump station to only serve the golf course townhomes. It's not going to be big enough to serve anybody else. The they're the only ones paying for it, so it would only take care of them.
So the gray water lines that are in existence are sufficient for this addition?
Yes. Yes, at this point in time, the lines that are in the ground out there today can handle these 30 and might be able to handle about 30 more before doing any major upgrades. If we want to add other customers, we actually need to go in a different direction and change this pump station to a different style.
And how does
Mayor?
this? Yeah, go ahead, JH.
Tim, could you repeat those numbers again on what the monthly sewer bill is going to be? Was that based on 100 gallons a day? Or
yes.
how?
The regular sewer rate would be $33.93. That's outside city sewer, and that's for 3,000 gallons. And the amount they would be paying for the offsite improvements is $61.49. And that's a total of $95.42.
Okay, and they would be making that payment to the city of Crossville directly.
Yes, yes, they'd make that payment directly to the city of Crossville, and there would be 120 of those payments before the offsite improvement cost would go away.
Okay, now how do we make sure that we can collect our 95.42? Can we put a lien on that unit?
That was my next question as well. We need to get legal involved in this, because whether a unit's vacant or not, it's going to have an owner. The owner needs to be responsible for the improvements, the way I look at it. So we'll have to get our counselor to put together a contract on that. Right, counselor?
I can't give the legal stuff.
Yeah. Let me look at it and I'll get back with you. I think the agreement is with the homeowners associations, the way I understand it. The homeowners association assesses that to the individual homeowner units. But let me look at seeing how we can collateralize our agreement, and I'll hopefully have a better answer.
That was going to be my next question, Mr. Attorney, because that's what I was thinking too. The homeowners association pays the water bill. So I'm sitting here thinking that they're going to pay the sewer bill as well. And I just want to be sure that the city has some kind of recourse in regard to that.
I think we've already done this, but just, I can't remember. Did we go before the South Cumberland Utility District and get their approval for offering the service? I thought we did. Okay.
Yep.
That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, counselor. Hopefully we can have something by Tuesday. Did that work? Thumbs up. Okay. Put that on our agenda, Val. Next one is discussion and action on the refinancing of the city debt. Councilmember Harrison.
Can you hear me now?
Wall to wall.
Oh, good. So talking to Mr. Kidwell, we can do what we'd originally intended, which was to refinance the Series A, B, and C bonds. And he says the next step is to resubmit a letter to the state saying that we intend to do that for their approval. So we need to, I don't know if we need to vote on that or not, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to have everybody in agreement on it.
Well, I think it needs to be something that we vote on.
I need to understand.
Unmute.
I need to understand where we're doing right now, that we're not actually authorizing to go to the bond right now. You're just trying to go to the next step.
That's right.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not getting in over my head before we pull the trigger.
Mr. Graham, unmute button.
There's going to be some wonderful deals come through from the federal government over the next 60 to 90 days for cities. I think it would be a big mistake. From what I've been reading, Mr. Mayor, I think there's going to be some 50-year financing available in the next 60 to 90 days. I'm not ready to go ahead with this. We can put it on the agenda if you all want to, but I'm not ready.
You think it's a bit premature?
Let me clarify something on this 50-year financing though. We've got some other projects coming up. So would you advocate wrapping the ABCs and the new projects all into one 50-year financing package?
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to see what track we were on.
Put it on there now. Whether we do anything with it or not, we'll have it there in case we do. Is there anything else that needs to come before the work session this evening? Scott's waving his finger. Unmute. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I just, to our city manager, to Craig, could you give us an update on where we are with closings in the city? As far as I've had some people asking me about that, and I wasn't even sure what to tell them. And I know we've had some information going out, but could you give us an update?
The easier thing to do is what it's open.
Okay.
That's the walking trails. As it.
Okay.
So you can go to Soldiers Beach. You can do the walking trails at Centennial, but everything else is closed because of social distancing and because of the executive order number 23.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you this, believe it or not, golf courses are exempt from this as long as they maintain proper social distancing. And there is a golf course operating in the city that is saying that they're prescribing to the social distancing issues. So you will see golfers out on some of those courses. I have never seen a golf cart that's more than 6 foot wide, but I'll just leave that alone.
Well, I think with golf, I think they're putting one person to a golf cart. I have to assume. I don't know that.
Maybe they'll get a trailer for them. Tandem.
Mr. Graham.
In answer to your question, Scott, that is correct. As you all know, Governor Lee's press release of yesterday, April the 6th, 2020, indicated that the state of Tennessee is to release $100 million to city governments through the governor's local support grants. These applications will open April the 30th, 2020. They are to be used for capital maintenance, public safety, road projects, IT upgrades, utility system upgrades, certain disaster expenses, and of course, other CLVD 19 one-time expenses that are local. As the city of Crossville can apply for as much as $284,979, I'd like the appropriate individuals for the city to prepare the necessary resolution in favor of this grant at our next meeting, April the 14th.
Good idea. Very well. We also need to be thinking about where prioritize the expenditures.
Well, I think what I would just like to do is just broad brush it. And then when we finally make the application, we have to have a resolution to approve the application. And that's what I'm asking for April the 14th.
Right.
the word is the application will be available by April 30th. They're still in the works. As soon as we get that in our hands, we'll pass it out and let y'all be having a look at that.
Let's go ahead and get the resolution in the works, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Just a quick housekeeping item. I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and say that our city manager and our mayor are in the same room. Is that correct?
Yes, but we're about 20 feet apart.
Well, it throws a lot of, I think it's going to be better if you're not going forward, because every time one talks, there's an echo big time. So just so you know.
We just wanted to take a trip to the Grand Canyon.
All right, very well. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.